You've probably danced to this song here, even if it was against your will, right? Party Rock Anthem wasn't just a hit, it was a historic moment in pop culture, one of those that take over the world and then disappear. But behind the giant glasses, the weird dances, and the everyday I'm shuffling, there's a story that few people know. Musical heritage, failure, absurd success, ego money, and a family broken by their own hit. To understand how LMFAO went from Motown straight to the top of Billboard charts and then into silence, we need to go back to the beginning and really get to know who Redfoo and Sky Blue are. But first, what's up Action Crew? Listen, if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, my brother, look, subscribe now, leave a like, turn on notifications, you know that the boss has a card shop. The t-shirt link will be in the description, just like the links to the awesome gear I use to bring top quality to this channel. And also the playlist with the documentaries I make that come out every Sunday here on the channel. They'll be at the end in the final card, so you can go there and binge everything because now it's time to binge a hit that a lot of people liked back in 2011 and now keep it on the down low, acting like they don't know it. I know what's up. Well, the two members of LMFAO are Sky Blue and Redfoo. Sky Blue, whose real name is Skylar Houston Gordy, is actually the nephew of Redfoo, whose real name is Stephen Kendall Gordy. And just by that last name, their surname, Gordy, if you follow black music, you probably already know that these guys come from a noble lineage. Yes, Redfoo is the son of Barry Gordy, simply the guy who created Motown, or the first African American to have a major record label over there in the US. None other than the man behind the label that discovered Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross, Lionel Richie, Marvin Gaye, and the list goes on. Even though they are heirs of black music, for them to launch themselves as artists, they had to work hard. Redfoo, for example, started his career as a rapper, right? And back in the late 1990s, he teamed up with another guy. He released a rap album that flopped so hard that it sold only 44 copies in its first week of release. But at the Gordy family Christmas in 2006, Redfoo and Sky Blue realized they had musical chemistry between them, even though Sky Blue also had a music career on the side, but it wasn't very successful either. They thought, hey, why don't we team up uncle and nephew and try to start something? Who knows, maybe it'll work out. And they weren't wrong, man, because at first, under the name Sexy Dudes, which is really weird by the way, they wanted to take over electronic music. But when Sky Blue's grandmother heard that name, man, she laughed a lot. Probably just like you did when I said their original name, right? And that was the trigger for them to change their name to LMFAO, which means laugh my fucking ass off, or basically laughing a lot. One of the things that influenced LMFAO's performances at the beginning of their career was the Melbourne Shuffle, which is a street dance style that originated in the mid-80s in the rave and underground scene of Melbourne, Australia. It was also strongly influenced by England's rave scene, which was very popular then. Known and respected worldwide, it is one of the richest electronic dance styles with culture, simplicity, and complexity in its steps. And that would later become one of the main trademarks of LMFAO, but besides dancing, the guys had to sing. And one day, one of the demos ended up in the hands of none other than Will.i.am, who was blowing up during the Black Eyed Peas' The End era. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a video here where we talk about the Black Eyed Peas, and you'll understand how huge the Black Eyed Peas were back in 2009. Will.i.am in turn showed this demo to Jimmy Iovine, the president of Interscope Records, who said, man, let's sign these two guys. Then, in July 2008, they released their first EP called Party Rock, which a year later would become an album with the same name. And proving a lot of people wrong who say that LMFAO is a one-hit wonder, meaning artist with only one hit, I think I'm almost sure that you might have heard them for the first time in the song Getting Over You, which is very well known for being Fergie's song. Many say it's Fergie's song, but it's not. It features the legendary singer from the Black Eyed Peas, plus Chris Williams and David Guetta, who produced the beats. And going back to talking about Party Rock Anthem, this timeless anthem, the concept of the music video and the song was kind of a parody of the excesses that happen at parties thrown by famous and very rich people abroad. For example, giant sunglasses, weird dances, no shame at all. And using a lot of the Melbourne Shuffle, the cinematic music video became a cultural milestone and an old school YouTube viral hit. Besides the song staying at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for a month and a half, it was a hit just like LMFAO's next single, which was I'm Sexy and I Know It. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's cool that LMFAO never abandoned their references, right? They used the Melbourne Shuffle in Party Rock Anthem and used the old name, right? The sexy dudes in the song I'm Sexy and I Know It, that's really cool. But like I say in every video, right? With big hits come big responsibilities and big problems too. For example, when Party Rock Anthem came out, a lot of people criticized the music video because it showed a guy dressed as Jesus and everyone dancing. You could understand their intent, but some people didn't like it. And when they released I'm Sexy and I Know It, a lot of people, a lot of parents sent emails, even letters, right? Old school stuff, right? Letters to MTV, VH1, the music video channels, trying to stop the video from being played during regular programming and during the day, right? Because there were a lot of kids watching, and as you know, in that video, right, the guys are being sensual, which was kind of, too much for some parents. Besides that, when the duo's album came out, right? Sorry for the Party Rock, a lot of critics slammed the work saying it had generic lyrics and dealt with trivial subjects. But none of that stopped the duo's worldwide success, right? So much so that they opened for Keisha's Gets Gatsby's tour and also took part in the 2012 Super Bowl, the one where Madonna was the main attraction and the guys hold her up, lift her, they even sing Party Rock Anthem anyway. But this is where the duo's big problems begin. At the time, there were a lot of rumors going around that uncle and nephew were having issues behind the scenes because of the Super Bowl fee as well as the division of royalties from Party Rock Anthem and their other hits. Plus, a lot of people said that Redfoo kind of promoted himself during the group's shows and tours, right? People said that he also promoted himself as a DJ at the time and charged something like an extra $100,000 for his additional performances. Besides, he created a residency using the name Party Rock, which supposedly irritated Sky Blue, who on the other hand also got involved in some controversies. In this case, Sky Blue became known, right, very famous, for the trouble he caused on the plane because the former candidate for president of the United States, Mitt Romney, he got annoyed because he was on the same flight as Sky Blue, and Sky Blue simply reclined his seat too far back, bothering the politician. The fact is that Sky Blue went off on Mitt Romney right in the middle of the plane and got kicked out. He was even kicked off the flight, and that caused a huge stir at the time. But whenever the two were asked about splitting up, they always said they were family. However, in September 2012, the duo announced that they would go on hiatus for an indefinite period. Whenever asked about the reason for the split, Redfoo was always the more vocal one in the duo. He said that nothing happened, that he would always love his nephew and so on. However, Sky Blue didn't make excuses for the situation. In 2016, Sky Blue posted a long text on Facebook airing everything out. He said that his uncle only cared about money and also claimed that Redfoo was keeping all the LMFAO royalties, which were supposed to be split 50-50. This messed up the group and their relationship as a family. One of the most shocking parts of the text is when Sky Blue says this, quote, Kayo, your whole vibe and your whole style since our last show are just a half-baked version of LMFAO. He's talking about Redfoo's residency. My back locked up right before a big arena show. You went on stage, performed, but then you just left on the tour bus without seeing me. Actually, you didn't talk to me for about a year after that, which is around the time you announced our hiatus. As someone who really cared, loved, and supported you, that hurt a lot. I mean, you're my uncle, my blood. You kept touring with LMFAO and made a lot of money from it. You never called to ask how I was recovering. You just kept moving on without me. I really loved you. I looked up to you, man. But the more success we had, the more you wanted control. End quote. In that same year, 2016, Redfoo moved on with his life and released a solo album called Party Rock Mansion, which was a huge flop and sold only 144 copies in its first week of release. Which meant for a lot of people that Redfoo's career might not work out very well outside of LMFAO. But it didn't mean the same thing for Sky Blue. He even announced in 2016 that he was working on a project, a solo album, right? Much more focused on rap, let's put it that way. But the music videos and songs he released were really hit or miss. Some songs got millions of views, some songs got just a few views, and it kept going back and forth like that. Highlighting here the song Salute, which he released as a single from his debut album.
Yes, I do. Yeah. 3 for me, 3 for you, BBU.
But moving on to 2017, my brother Sky Blue disappeared. The man only showed up again at the end of 2025 in a video singing "I'm Sexy and I Know It." After that, nobody knows where Sky Blue is. As for Red Fool, he also disappeared for a while, but he would show up every now and then, you know? In 2023, he released the track Long Live Party Rock, and I don't need to tell you that it totally flopped, right? But the big plot twist is that Red Fool kind of changed careers. Actually, it's not that he changed careers, right? He added another pretty unusual career to his life. The guy simply became a tennis player, making his debut in a professional tournament recently at 49 years old. In the end, guys, LMFAO was much more than just music or a viral dance. It was a product of its time, but let's be honest, it worked out. Man, even today, people are still discovering party rock anthem "I'm Sexy and I Know It" and a bunch of their other songs on TikTok and just moving on with life. They were the perfect picture of an era when the internet could turn an inside joke into a global phenomenon, but could also swallow up its creators just as quickly as it discovered them. Party rock anthem didn't just destroy the dance floors, it exposed egos, interests, family disputes, and showed that not all success is meant to last, especially when the party is over. And maybe, guys, that's LMFAO's greatest legacy, proving that a hit can be eternal, but the group can't. Because in the end, the question isn't why party rock died or why the wild 2010s parties died, but the real question is who actually survived that party. But that's what I wanted to know from you guys. Leave all your comments down below. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, turn on notifications, follow me on social media, subscribe, and we're in this together. And that's it, a big hug from Gerson Saldana. See you in our next video, and thanks.